Hello. What am I doing? Factorio, I know that much. Yeah, I have no idea. Right. Status update, I think. So, I ran the big train a bit this week. Seeing if I get it to work nicely. So I did a few little changes. Probably if I finish running down so I can show you them. Yeah, nope, don't get caught in the science. There we go. Shouldn't run through that, it's a nightmare. Alright, here we go. Right. There's my train. That's not the one I want. Actually, I can show it. So what I first did was I really heavily limited these chests. Basically I did that to force... Because otherwise, like, it would just stack up and eventually it would become an issue. But I figured if I heavily limited the chests, it still acted as the balancer as I wanted. But it forced the issue of stuff stacking up in the trains more. So, like, you'll see that there's very little used here. Because this run has basically entirely used up what was stacked in here. So there's very little... kind of been made and used. The next thing I did... oh, I've already messed up that one. Alright, I can't really show it. One sec, I'm going to set the train running. This will take a little while, but whatever. Basically... what was happening is in this process here, the reds are of course the limiting factor. The problem is the greens that stack up over the, in sort of these 6 carriages, I think it is. Basically, when producing the reds up here, it doesn't actually use up all the greens. So what's happening is when the train gets back around to filling up, you don't get a full load of copper wire because the greens are still in the system. That of course means that you don't produce enough reds because that's the wire that is being produced from that. And therefore you have even more greens left over because they're producing fine. And therefore you end up in the situation where eventually you make no reds. So I kind of... It's going to take a little while to actually demonstrate this. Because apparently I went and cleared out all the greens. Because I was being a very good boy and very thoughtful and not really thinking about what I was doing. Come on. So I'll leave that train running for a sec. Another problem I found, which I haven't really worked out to solve yet, was this. So, I set these up very precisely. So, it needed basically to fill it up. I'm not quite sure why, and I can't quite work out what caused it. But effectively, there were more reds in the train than this number, and I don't quite know where they are. That makes sense. Because all the maths adds up. Complete those now, can't I? That there should be a completely equal number of each of them in there, and yet somehow I have just some more reds in it, and I have no idea where they are. So basically the train was never moving. Now, the problem with it at the moment is, of course, there's a handful loaded into all the other cars, because I had to run the train around and set all of these carriages up. because these have all the limit. These two have the limits in it, and it was really hard work trying to work out which ones they were. So I just ran the train around and waited till it stopped and set them there. Yeah, so I need to work out a different way of doing this. I'm really not sure how to do it. Because one way is to monitor how much is stacked up in these chests and basically wait, effectively the chests unload it all and then they fill up again. But that seems quite wasteful. One way I'm considering is, could I just put a really long inactivity on it? Like, because this thing runs every, what was it, 210 seconds. Plus 60 seconds to move. So I put, I don't know, 300-second inactivity on it. Theoretically, this train should always get back around. Theoretically, but not quite right, because, of course, this point is where the train sets itself. So, yeah. That's a way, though. It potentially could be done if I made sure it had more than the... If it had sort of more than this amount, but was on an inactivity, it theoretically could just about get me a full load. But yeah, this one I haven't worked out yet. This one, however, I came up with 3 ideas. If I first put my Excel up, which I quite often do. The first one was if I went through and rearranged all these trains so that I didn't have any stuff double stacking. I think it was 440. Yeah, I think in 441 didn't work. Yeah. Now, effectively, I'm left with 4 cars that aren't being used. It's a bit annoying because it's nice getting them all used. But there's no particular reason why that couldn't work. Problem is, I'd literally have to go through and redo every single stop and start on this line. And I really can't be bothered. So, effectively, so method 2 was I worked out this lot. So effectively what the issue is, that these greens are getting loaded into these copper. And the problem is that I think it's actually wire. I think it was wire is actually the limiting factor in this process. The amount of wire in the train is the thing that runs out first. So, in theory, if I messed around with it, I can make sure that these greens were the things that ran out first. And therefore, I lose my problem, because the greens are always used. The easiest way of achieving that is effectively limit the amount of iron I put in. So what I worked out was effectively if I didn't load 12 of the slots in one of the cars with iron, this should be the limiting point. Which doesn't actually sound like very much, but it's just enough to tip the balance. And that will just give me just enough iron that I get basically that amount, and therefore it all works. The bit I can't calculate to that is... I actually have a feeling these reds aren't the limiting factor in this final process. If memory serves. Because this load, I know, where am I? I know at the moment these are the 2 with stuff still in them. The reds are the ones that are empty. But if memory serves, that's caused because there weren't enough reds in the system. So there wasn't enough blue being produced. So, but I think in normal reality, these are the limiting factor. So, yeah, there's the issue of if this starts stacking back up, it therefore won't clear its reds, which means it won't clear its greens, which means it won't be able to make enough reds if it needed them, and yeah. It just, I don't think it's possible to properly work out how it affects the system. It's a bit too compounding. Yeah, that's all running. So the third method I came up with, and I think this is probably the method I'm going to use, is I'm effectively going to recycle the extra greens. There's no problem with these not unloading properly. Doesn't affect anything. So if I took all the excess greens out of the train at this point, loaded them onto a train and reloaded them back in wherever it is, I can't remember which one of these it is. That one. I think it is. Yeah, reload them back in there. It would cause all the materials feeding into it to back up, but I don't really care about that. But most importantly, it doesn't stop the next set of processes running properly. So I think that's most sensible one. Kind of the only thing I need to really consider is how do I get fuel out there. I could just run another train line from here, blah 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 blah, all the way out here. Although I thought kind of a more fun way, I say fun in inverted commas, is actually just load some fuel, nuclear fuel, into the system here. So if I run over there, I'll show you what I mean. I always forget how far this thing is. This is a big area. How many solar panels are going to end up in this area? Kind of a scary thought. There we go. Oh, yeah. There the rain goes again. So, where are we? There. I'll have to wait for the train to stop. Actually, I'm also going to add in a condition to this. Passenger present on that one. Basically because I want it to stop there. Because then I actually know where the greens are. Because I don't know where they stop at the moment. I could probably work it out from the cars and count back. And it's like, yeah, it's not that. Come on, train. Where are you up to? Almost there. So, at the moment, this car is used to load iron plates. So I didn't really see why I couldn't just put a couple, like, take, I don't know, say the bottom row of this out. Because let's face it, I'm never going to use all of those iron plates 5 times round for making sulfuric acid to make uranium. I got 74,000 in stock. Like, I don't think I'll ever need more uranium because it's a 1-to-1 or it's less than that because of the productivities. And like, nuclear fuel doesn't get used that quickly. So I don't think I've got an issue there. So I'm tempted just to steal like the bottom row of these, let's say, and just say load nuclear fuel into it. And then when I get somewhere over here, I just unload the nuclear fuel and run it into the trains somehow. That feels like quite a sensible method to use. So I think that's probably the most logical one to go for, is just recycle the excess greens. So if I set this up, I just click all these because I do need iron plates in these. I'll just go for the bottom row. That isn't what I meant to do. Then effectively what I need is just you, and you. And that works. So if I copy you, run all the way down the train and put you in the last one. And go along all the train completely and put you all into the last one. I'll get nuclear fuel, which I can use on the train. Down, and then, oh god, I messed that up already. That's the button I wanted. Alright. I can't actually get to the last one. It's in the lake. Oops. Oh well, I'll have to wait for the train to move. Let's go upwards because there's something to do that one. There we go. I should probably go dump all of that in somewhere. Click that. I might as well just wait here. Here actually. Can I actually get to that? Might be able to get to it from that island. I might have to test that. There we go. Do I try, or do I just wait for the 210 seconds to pass? I try. There's quite a long time left. Don't get hit by trains. How do I get onto that island? Further down. This is where I get there and it pulls off right at that moment. Watch it. It'll do it. Ah, look how close I am. Behind the window. Ah, I've got a little bit of landfill on me, don't I? Oh no, no, I can get it. There we go. Right. That's all 5 of those done, so I'll get some nuclear fuel now. Come on. Right. So now I need to go up here somewhere. I can do the unloady bit quite easily, can't I? Because I know where that is. just have to wait for the train to get round to show me where the... Oh, it's only got one more stop, so it won't take it long. But I'll still do the unloading bit for now. Where are we? This one, isn't it? Yeah, that's the thingy. Yeah. Right. So to do this, what do I need to do? Here's some tree space. Rocks. I should probably turn that back on so I get rid of stuff. And effectively what I need to do is change the way this thing loads up. This is where I put that. It's kind of awkward. Bah. I have an idea, actually. Move those three. It gives me tons of space. And effectively what I'm going to do is load it into one of these. And then put a circuit condition on these. That if greens is larger than 20k. Oh no, greens is lower than 20k. Come on. It allows it to unload. Then I just need to put in something to... Yeah. Go with that. There we go. Then I need to make train. I will put in vertically, just because I can. Train bits, which are that and that. How much track have I got left? Quite enough. 1, 2. Right. Then I need the unloady thing, which of course I can't quite see. Let's put one of these down. There we go. Why do I feel like I made this train too long, guys? There we go. Yeah, that's my 12 cars that I wanted. So that'll then allow this to recycle. And should stop any new being made after that 20k. I don't think it'll ever get there, so... Yeah, actually, no, theoretically it will eventually get there. And it will hover on that 20k constantly, so I'm fine with that. Right. 2 nuclear fuel in there. And I think what I'll do is run the train over to here, for example. Because that's where the fuel's getting unloaded. Put a little stop in here. And and then let it go back over here. I think that's what I'll run. Actually, I could actually just drive the train over, couldn't I? Straight over all the resources I'm not going to use. I could do it there, actually. Let's do that. Because there's one there as well, isn't there? So, saving. Thank you, server. Let's this track. Cool. Run this over here. Right. I actually want it to stop either side because when I unload these, I want to split redo them. What am I doing? So that I get half on each side, basically. To whitelist me tree destroying. Get rid of some of this stuff, shouldn't I? Yeah, she said it. Just dump robots deal with it. Oops. Right. I didn't name any of these, did I? So I want that, but greens. That is also the unload. This one I guess can be classified as refuel. This train. So the other way around. Reload, refuel. This one's just going to be a 10-second time wait. This one's going to be an empty cargo. I actually need to put a passenger present on that to make sure it doesn't move after 10 seconds. Because it can't move anyway, so I guess it's not too big an issue. I should probably do something more about that, but whatever. me just pick up that nuclear fuel. Let's dump some of it in there. There is. Yeah, I guess there was only 8, wasn't there? I mean, I'm less fussed about this one. Yeah, that'll be more than fuel. I guess if I'm being sensible, I should do that, shouldn't I? Right, carrying back on my train line. This now needs to head somewhere over here, so let's go do that side first, because then I know where I'm going. Always a useful thing. This is where I get proven wrong, and there's no greens left in this bit. Yeah. I get proven wrong. Saying that. What the hell? Have these been used at all? Yeah, they have been used. Okay. So that's just run out. And yeah, as I said, typically no freaking greens left, is there? I'm pretty sure it's these 6. Emphasis on pretty sure. Let's just go have a look. Reds. Yeah, this is what I mean about there's greens left over, like there are. Yeah, the Y is the one that's run out. There's a reasonable amount of plastic left over, which is fine. But I have a feeling it's making too many at the moment because of the way this thing's letting it load. Right. So it is definitely 6 straight after the wire. Okay. So it's these 6. I should have really taken a copy paste of that, shouldn't I? That would have been helpful. Right, that. Let's take that out for a minute. I really should do something with these poles. Anyways. Right, so that'll unload all the excess greens. And then just need to load them into a train. Train stop. Train stop. Needs to be a wee bit longer. I picked the wrong one there. Okay. How do I feel like doing this? Do I just run all the way along? Should I like go at an angle? It's actually quite a long train line. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It's got, what, 300, 400 carriages in line there? In that case, let me... this thing will way out like this. Well, that's annoying, isn't it? Oh, I've gone way too far. What if I could just link these two up like this? Apparently the answer to that is yes, I can. Thank you, routing system. I have no idea how straight this is going to be. And I'm going to take that as not very. What made it decide to do that? Oh well. Do I actually care enough to fix it? No. Do I think it adds a bit of character to it? More like probably annoying some OCD people, but I'm OCD and it doesn't bother me. Deal with it. Cool. You then get a load. Full cargo. Disappear. I'll come back and deal with the trees another time. Right now. Actually, no, what I want to do is run back all the way back to here. And go copy paste the loady thing. Do I actually care? No, I really don't care. I'll just make a new one. It's not like it's that hard to make. I kind of did that a bit too on point, didn't I? Well. And of course the last one gets especially doodah. Right. Yeah, I really did make that ever so slightly too long, didn't I? Whatever. There we go. Right. So that should allow any greens to recirculate. Okay, I'm gonna fix these trees, it's gonna annoy me. I can deal with squiggly lines. Apparently I can't deal with trees. It's just covering up my pretty track. Quotation, massive quotation marks around the pretty bit, but it's a track. I don't care. You are not allowed to crowd my track, trees. It's kind of annoying you can't do this on like a weird slanty thing. Don't like all these dead trees around. I'm about to run out of inventory space, aren't I? Oh, wood burner system, burn more wood. I hate to know how much wood I've collected now. Actually, I can find out, can't I? No, that's fine. It's kills. Items. Consumption 2.8 million wood. Mildly scary. Consider pretty much all of that's just been burnt to waste energy. That's scary. Right. So I think this should mark this as completed. If I delete that, see what happens. I just realised I have my Excel thing up, didn't I? Oh well. Sorry. Right. So while that runs for a bit, let's... What am I thinking? I have no idea what I'm thinking. Always need to sort this out, don't I? I mean, if I do larger than and equals 2 on all these, and do like an inactivity, that just went. Oh well. Let's put that in there. Also make sure all those are larger than equals 2. Let's go like 500 seconds. Solid. I really don't like that solution though. I mean, in theory this is a weird situation because there's extra loaded in it. Whereas every other time it'll be... So... let's just move it to... larger than equals 2 on. Yeah, I don't... yeah, I do need to because it's not quite a full train. Guess in theory that might work. It's back. I guess there'll be a little bit of fuel in this now. Yep. Awesome. Okay. Let's see if that works. So, the last thing I'm probably going to do tonight is probably going to be quite a short one. I'll probably be back tomorrow evening to do a bit more proper one, is have a think about the next science, which is purple. So, sorry. Screen bigger. Right, purple. So, I've set up a very similar set of calculations. I've been through and double checked all of my FUPAs from last time. So, I think I'm going to do a couple of things differently this time. So this one doesn't appear to be able to fit as... Well, I guess unsurprisingly, these things are more expensive as they get bigger. And I'm going to have an even bigger problem with this later on. Is... to be seen. I go over to purple. Yeah, you can. Cool. Yeah. You need a lot more materials per science than you did for any of these. Oh, I didn't realize it classified these engines as separate raw materials. Ah, it's because they have to be made in assembly. You can't make them by hand, that's why. Yeah. Yeah, these two are really cheap. This one's a bit more expensive, but not nearly as expensive as this one. So, what I was thinking was actually to split out some of these materials more. So, like, in this one, I've got iron being loaded, and only iron, and then somewhere along here, turns into steel. There. If I actually, like, pull it somewhere you can see. There. OBS so I get quick feedback on that. I don't normally like playing with it because it distracts me, like, so I tend to just use a little Twitch preview thing. So yeah, I was thinking about doing that, and the other one I was thinking was not going to load stone into the train. Because I need a lot of stone. 53 cars of it. And doing that just completely whacks all of the maths out of proportion. So between doing some of these processes on the train, so like steel, brick, but still doing most of them, like iron in sticks is still being done on the train, you end up with actually a set of numbers that could work. So, I think I didn't check that while I think about it. No, actually we're fine. Cool. Sorry. The thing... Ooh, actually, will it? Sorry. Let me come back to what I'm thinking about. Would help, wouldn't it? Right. So, I was trying to work out what processes need to be done. So, if I assumed everything's loaded into number one, the longest process is copper into wire, into greens, into reds, into production modules. And the equivalent for the furnaces, it's copper, wire, green, red, furnace. And then separately into purple. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then purple is a 6th stop. So the reason that's important is because effectively that means I need 5 stops plus 1 extra, which means I'll need, well, I need total 10. I think I only need 1 more, don't I? Yeah. So that needs to go up to 10, basically. Because what this number is yeah. Does that work? So, sorry. Finished thought. So what that number was, let's just roll that back a minute, is in total, this one runs, and then it sits at this place for a long time before it clicks round to the 1 hour mark. Because it only actually physically sits for what? 4 minutes a time? 4.5 minutes a time? Does that 9 times? What's that? 40 minutes? So it then sits for 20 minutes to create the correct length of time. So what this was just working out was... Should probably actually... Bad idea. Let's actually validate my maths quickly. So I know approximately what that one's running at. Divide that by 60. So yeah, about 20 minutes, which is what I was expecting it to say. Yeah, so basically it does each of these in these 4-minute blocks, and then it comes around here and does a 20-minute stop. So what this was working out was how many seconds were left over in this system. So providing that was a positive number, I didn't need to think about doing multiple sets of loading and unloading. I could just run things linearly. So the reason like the order of how many times it stops was important, because I was accounting for only doing 5 stops. Of course there's 6 stops. So basically what it comes to is I have loads of extra time. Probably mess around with this. Because that just makes the numbers a little bit easier to work with. Yeah, and again I end up with 2 cars left over. Now I have 180 seconds, so it has to then wait at the equivalent of this final stop. Which is not too bad. So, yeah, I think that's the way the purple's going to run. So, in that concept, therefore I need those materials. Well, that one gets made, so... and the stone will need to be near the production facility for the rails, if that's just going to get loaded straight into it. Because it's just 200,000 stone in a train. So I know these are big trains, but it still takes up a lot of space. Like, the numbers just don't work out. So, purple was this corner, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, because that one went off that way. And then white was down here. Purple's up in this corner. The question is, where am I going to build it? So, the first stop, I need to load iron and steel that. Sorry, iron, steel, copper, bricks. So I need iron, copper, and stone in a reasonable area. I'm kind of looking at those 3 at the moment. They've got iron, copper, and thingy quite close together. There's iron and stone well there, but there's no copper. Is the copper an issue? Is copper even used in its raw form? No, it doesn't in this one. It all gets turned into wires. I could load wire up instead and not have to carry the copper around. That is kind of tempting. Copy, paste. Stacks of 200s. Take you out. Out. wire. Let's just paste you in. I didn't mean to cut that, I meant copy and paste. Blah, blah, blah. Right, so if I do rather than that, wire. What? Do that. Back up again. Don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. So that gives me two benefits. One is I've lost a stage of this process. So I've now only got wire, green, red, furnace, which means, and then purple, which is now 5 stops rather than. So I'm back down to this. Wow, 10 seconds. But I also have 21 cars free. So if I do, let's say 130, 160. That's 100. 10. 70, 180, 190, 200. Ooh, 1 car left. That's a nice number. Alright, yeah. I could speed this up and drop this. What do I do? 40 seconds. So 170. Okay, that's too low. Let's do that as 130 and 190. Yeah, that works better. And I'm happy with that 70 second. Yeah. I'd rather it was a little bit higher actually. Just to make sure that things could actually run on that tick. Iron I do use in its raw form because of greens, so I think leaving that one as sticks is fine. I know technically bricks is stone, but blah to that. That's the number that's scary. 29 cars of rails. Ouch. And 29 of steel. Also ouch. 29 of sticks as well. Like, that is the killer one. So, I'm thinking. Turn that off for a minute. Twitch back. Right. So one other thing I should probably say is the last place that is doing one of these weird things is here. Now, again, I was considering what to do about this. And in some respects, because if all the yellows don't get used up, it just blocks more yellows being made, if that makes sense. And so I'm sitting there thinking, is that really an issue? And I don't think it is. Because effectively the iron can't get in, which means more yellows don't get made. But they already haven't all been used up, and it should be enough space in it to allow it to do what it can. So what I'm kind of tempted to do is, I don't think this is really necessary because yellows always seem to get used up. But what I was thinking was I could unload these 5 into these 5, and then just load them all. And then effectively it's these 5 that get stacked up with yellows. I was half considering that. But do I really think it's worth it? At the moment, no. I may run this round a few more times and see if it messes up. We're now back around here. And I guess, did we actually get any greens over in the end? No, we didn't. Yeah, I was considering that. Basically, unload it into one, so at least they're all stacked up in the one that doesn't matter, and therefore the maximum can be made each time. I don't think it's an issue though, because that gets used up. So the reason I went on to that topic, sorry, all over the place. Yep. Is I need 3 cars of 29. So there's no reason I couldn't just like take out that 29 and just load it into here, or because again it's self-blocking. Everyone that gets used up can be replaced. It's kind of what I'm thinking on that. Because this gives me, again, much more to play with on here. God. Again, 1. So I do 180 and 220. Okay, that's a little bit too short. And it just means that I'd have to do less per minute, basically. It's like that 120,000 now down to 100,000. That just sounds a little bit nicer. Yeah. My formatting's messed up here. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be. Yeah. Right, back to what I was doing. Right. So, I'm not going to use this train system again for the loading. Such a nightmare to set up. I'm actually tempted to try a robot thing this time. Just load tons of logistics bots into a logistics system and have them load from that. Yeah. Because what I was thinking was, if I set the request to chest to effectively stop requesting when it's full, and then wait until it's quite empty before it starts requesting, it should mean that they sort of go one at a time, sort of. And therefore it's not just robots. As soon as the first one gets taken out, it's trying to replace it. And I was hoping that might work a bit better. I don't think it really matters, but I don't kind of want to do it. So the reason I'm thinking that is, of course, those are in quite a straight line. And even that one potentially could be used. So providing the train stops sort of across here, that could be my major point of load of iron, steel, wire, brick, and the only one missing is plastic. Now again, I only need plastic. I don't need any of the other materials apart from a little bit of sulfuric acid again to make nuclear fuel. Because I may as well just make a little nuclear fuel thing. So if I stopped it across, say, these three. I'm looking. It's oil down here, so that could potentially work. It's across those two. Get my fingers out again and start measuring. That's horrible to use. There. Where is it? There. I'd use the hand I'm good at using, didn't I? I also moved the mouse there to there. Zoom down. So yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I think that's probably a good spot then. So, and tag. Stop one. And tag. Stop two. There. Okay, so it's about there is stop two. Yeah, they do need to be that around. So, next question is, am I better off going the other way? Probably not. Yeah. Are there any other good spots to do this in? There's stone and copper. There's technically iron up here, so that could be number one. There's quite a lot of oil fields, so if I went down here, so that being number two, or even potentially a part of number one, that could potentially work. It's also quite near iron and uranium, which is quite useful. Because I need no coal though. There's coal over here. I mean, there is coal around. Relatively close to water. Hang on. Again, there's uranium and coal not a million miles away. There's a bit of iron, so it's not too bad either. The nice thing about that is if I carried on down. I just realised what I'm doing. I need to remember to turn that off. Sorry. Start again. Right. So 2 places I was considering at the moment. There's a lovely iron, stone, copper reserve here. I was thinking 1 stop here. There's then crude oil here, which isn't that million miles away from the 3 things it really needs, which are uranium, coal, and iron. Because uranium, iron for nuclear fuel. And of course coal for plastic. Because I don't need sulfur in this one, so I'm only doing plastic. The problem with this area is where do I then go? Because that's all of my... So the 3rd process I could be making rails in. Or the 4th. Probably doing the 4th so that all the final productions are done in 4th and 5th. So actually there's then a 3rd stop. So let's say is... fingers again. About... where is it? There it is. There. A bit higher maybe. And then effectively I could run the final two along here. It's a bit close. I don't kind of like that. So the other place I was just considering is up here. Because I've got surface saving. Iron, copper, stone. Or even technically copper, stone here. Maybe iron here. Like, there's a few choices of a vertical one. Not seeing stone around for that. There's a few crude oils around. Not a million miles away from... I mean, coal's a bit of an issue for that one. That one. I mean, if I went... Yeah, but again, the problem is you've got landmass issues here. Or at least all the way down here, I could sort of go maybe like that. And around. I think that's probably the wise choice, is go like that. So, what's my finger lengths? About that. If I started up here, let's see. Where am I at? That iron to that iron. So, that iron to that iron. And the next one goes about here. The next one goes about here. Next one goes about here. Last one goes about there. And then there's loads of space for it to come back across around like this. Because only it's just going a big square. So that could work. The fourth one has stone needed. And there is stone here, here, here. So I mean, that's possible. So I think that's actually not a bad solution. I think that's where purple is going. 3 stops down, 2 across, and then it can just roll back across here. It's finishing. Because it can effectively load everything in here. I might need to move it across over to like here, let's say. Somewhere around there, let's say. Water and coal could be fed in from here. I've got iron, and uranium for the sulfuric acid. And uranium fuel. Nice short jump up and down here for the uranium fuel reloading. I think that's probably a winner. Yeah, I think that's a winner. And then of course there's loads of space here to coil up the purple train, science train, which will be damn sight easier than this one to set up because I can just need full cargo. Which is actually on this 1.5, 1.5, 1.5 million. Nice. The point where your train's casually got 1.5 million in it. I think that's quite nice. Oh, nice. Where did this train end up, by the way? Oh, just moved and... Oh no, it's just about to move off from step 3. Okay. I am going to place radar dishes down. I can see this train. I want to see what if it runs, if it moves, blah blah blah. Let's run back to base group. Yeah, so I think I'm going to stop there today. I think that's the plan for the purple. Yeah. I'll decide if I'm back tomorrow or not tomorrow, because I'm quite tired. Or I might just be back on Tuesday. One or the other. Yeah. These guys do their job. Restock and unstock, can we please? Yeah. Yep, I think that's my plan. Yep, I'm gonna give up at that point then. Have a good one. Bye, bays.